Okay, well then we'll start off cross-legged today. Let's take a second and slow it down so you can close your eyes. And breathe nice and deep. Remember, we're using this time for ourselves, so whatever you were busy doing before you got here, try to leave that out the door. And we're starting to slow that breath. So with each exhale, try to feel as though your shoulders are dropping down a little bit more, pulling away from the ears. So if you've been holding any tension in your neck or in your shoulders, we're trying to let that go. Nice and easy. If they're not there already, take both hands, turn them palms up on the inside of your knees. So palms facing up, resting on your legs. We're going to take a big breath in. As you exhale, drop your ear to your shoulder. Again, we'll inhale, move your head through the center, and then exhale to drop your ear over your other shoulder. Trying to use this position to keep the shoulders down, so elbows feeling nice and heavy. Again, we'll inhale, head through the center. Exhale, drop the ear over the shoulder. While you're there, if you want, you can turn your chin so that it's closer to the top of your shoulder, or maybe take a couple of repetitions there, turning the head. And then same thing when you're ready, you'll inhale, move your head through the center, drop your ear to your other shoulder. And then same thing, you can rotate your chin closer to the top of your shoulder a few times. Very good, return your head to neutral. Do a few shoulder rolls, so moving the shoulders forward. And then reversing, rolling to the rear. Take a big breath in, stretch those hands up overhead. Oh, my arms are sore. Couple breaths. Breathe in, and as you exhale, we're gonna fold forward, send those fingertips out, relax through the shoulders. Let that lower back relax as well. We're loosening up around the hips. Let's inhale, circle those arms around. We're gonna place them behind us, and you can send the feet in front of you just a little bit with knees bent. We're gonna rock the knees side to side, so just relaxing through the hips. Just keeping that chest lifted as we do. You can wiggle the toes out some, especially if you've cut the circulation off to your feet. Okay, good. Okay, we're gonna stop back in the middle. We're gonna keep the bottoms of the feet together, allow the knees to fall off to the sides into a cobbler pose or a little butterfly. If you wanna have your hands behind you, try to lift through the chest and move your belly button closer to your heels. So you're actually rotating your pelvis a little bit. And you should feel a big stretch here on the inside of the thighs or into the groin. When you're ready, we're going to inhale. As you breathe out, start to move your belly button closer to your ankles. So you still have a big lift in the chest. And then once you've reached as far forward as you can go, you can clasp onto your legs or your feet and just hold that shape. A few more breaths. We're going to inhale, circle those arms around again. One more time, just rocking the knees side to side. So you can lift them up off of the floor. Smack it to the wall here. And you can hold each position as long as you need. So on the next one, we're going to dump the knees off to the side, leave them both on the ground. One arm's going to stay behind us. We're going to place the hand on top of the thighs and just twist away from those feet. So we're using that other hand to stop us from falling over, pushing and getting a big twist in through the side of the torso. A few more deep breaths. Remember, we're trying to use the belly to breathe. So as you inhale, you're allowing the belly to balloon out. And again, we're going to twist back to the front. Take your time, dropping those knees off on the other side. We're going to repeat that. So other hand behind you, placing the hand on top of the thighs. And we're trying to rotate away from the knees. So big stretch through the side of your waist. And we're ballooning that belly out as we inhale. So every breath in, belly is going to expand. You should feel a little bit of pressure in the rib cage. Very good. When you're ready, let's return to the front. We're going to leave one leg in, send the other leg off to the side, making like a sideways figure four. And if the floor, it hurts your ankle or your heels, just kind of turn sideways on your mat. That's fine. Okay, so starting off nice and tall. And nice and easy, take the same side arm and stretch down toward the shin or the ankle. The longer you hold this, the more you'll feel that the inside of your thigh starts to relax. Lower back will let go a little bit. Now hold that position, but take the opposite arm and try to stretch it over top. See if you can also reach in the direction of that shin. So we're keeping a slight lift in the chest. That way the stretch stays on the side of the body. And a couple more big breaths, still using your diaphragm to breathe. And then keeping that folded feeling, we're going to move the hands so that they're in between the thighs. So hands are going to go out in front of you. We're going to fold over those legs. A few more breaths. Now, if you need to stay here longer because you're getting a good stretch, then go ahead and do so. Then when you're ready, we're going to be switching to the other side. So you'll lift yourself up out of this stretch. We're gonna pull this leg in and send the other leg out. Doing the exact same thing. So we're starting off nice and tall, and same thing as before. If the floor is hurting your heel, you can turn sideways so that your mat is underneath it. So we're starting up off, trying to settle your butt cheeks down into the mat without feeling like you're gonna fall over. And then we're gonna take the same side arm and stretch it in the direction of that shin or your ankle. Keeping that slight lift in the chest, allowing that inner thigh to relax. We'll take the opposite arm and stretch it up and over, so big stretch through the side of the torso. Moving those ribs to breathe. Okay, and then we're going to take those hands and move them out onto the floor. So we're taking the body and folding between those legs again. Still trying to keep those hips sunk into the floor. Give it 2 more deep breaths. And then when you're ready, we're gonna pull up and out of that shape. We're gonna get off of our bottom for a second here. Let's move over onto hands and knees. And just getting everything else warmed up. So let's start with curling the toes under ever so slightly. Remember, knees need to be a shoulder width or hips width wide. Okay, and you can move your hands slightly out. We're just going to saw the body forward and back. So we're sending the hips back, big stretch through the ankles, the knees, and the hips. And then from there, you'll move forward and then stretching through the shoulders and the wrists and opening through the hips. So we're gonna do this motion, sawing forward and back, taking your time, just kind of noticing what each joint is doing, each range of motion. And if there's a position that is painful or that's super uncomfortable, you don't have to force yourself into that shape. Just work through kind of organically. Keeping those hips held high. And when we're going through like this is a time for you to notice which parts of your body need the most attention. That way when we go into poses that work that area, you're able to focus on that a bit more. Just one more pass forward and back. You should feel that it's easier to work through certain parts. Okay, so we're going to work it back a little bit. We're going to place the hands down on the mat, and you can lay both feet flat again so that your toes aren't curled under. We're going to go into a bird dog, but we're going to do a little different variation. So start by pulling the shoulders down from the ears. Make sure your sides are super strong. Big breath in. We're going to exhale and send an arm out. And then from there, we're going to take the opposite leg. Keep it in contact with the floor. Just slide the foot back. So we're still touching the floor. And if you feel nice and stable, you can lift that leg up and still try to hold that super flat torso. Two more breaths. Once you finish that second breath, you can lower the arm and leg down. Give yourself a little wiggle if you need it, especially in the wrists. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're starting with pulling the shoulders down from the ears. Big breath in. We're going to exhale and send the other arm up, keeping the shoulders nice and strong. Let's take the other leg, send it out behind you, but you can keep it in contact with the floor for a sec. We're just making sure the torso is nice and strong. And then if this feels comfortable, you can lift that leg up. Give it 3 deep breaths. After that third breath, we're going to lower the hand down. Send the knees out nice and wide. Bring the big toes together. And we're going to extend out in extended child's pose, stretching through those arms, through the shoulders. You can rest your forehead down on the mat. And if you need more of a stretch through the shoulders or through the chest, you can always move those hands. So you can either separate them more or bring them closer together. Try to relax through the low back. Take a few more breaths. When you're ready, we're going to come up out of that shape. So take your time. We're going to bring the knees in slightly. We're going to settle those hands down to the mat, and we're going into a high plank. So we're going to curl the toes under. Big breath in and exhale. Try to make a straight line from your shoulders down past your hips all the way to your heels. If you can't do it on your feet, you can just drop to the knees and do the exact same thing. One more breath in. Now, as you exhale, we're going to take a leg, bend that knee, and bring it as far forward as you can. And then settle that back knee down. You're going to have to adjust just a little bit so we have lots of space between our front foot and our back knee. And if you can get about a shoulder width of space, that'll be good too. So we've got both those hands down on the inside of the knee. We're settling those hips forward. We've done a bunch of wristy stuff, so if the wrists are getting kind of yucky, you can move your hands out in front of you some. And sometimes that opens up that angle and gives you a little less stress. Big breath in. We're going to lift through the chest. Trying to sink those hips. One more breath in. On the exhale, we're going to push our weight back. So we're coming off of that front leg, going into a hamstring stretch. You can put both hands around your front leg and fold it over. This is a good time to relax those wrists if they're getting kind of gross and achy. Two more breaths here. Okay, take your time. Let's pull that leg back. We're going to meet in a high plank again. So if you need to wiggle it out some, you can. Got one more of those nasty things. So hands are going to go forward when you're ready. You're going to have them shoulder width wide. So bringing your shoulders forward. We're straightening out through the torso. Remember, you can do this on your knees or on your feet, but you're trying to make a straight line from your shoulders down past your hips all the way to your ankles. Give this one more big breath in. On the exhale, we're going to move the opposite leg forward. So try to pull that foot as far to the front as you can and then drop the back leg down. And readjust if you need to. So we have lots of space between our front foot and our back knee, and we've got about a shoulder width there. So both hands are going to go down on the inside of your foot. And we're sinking through those hips. Big breath in. As you exhale, we're gonna lift through the chest, so it's just giving us more of a sinking feeling through the hips, but it's also strengthening up here on your upper back. Give this one 2 more breaths. On the exhale, we're gonna work our way back. So same thing, keeping that front foot planted. Fingertips are gonna go around that front leg and we're folding over. Couple more breaths, trying to relax through that back side of your leg. And we're gonna move on from here up into a standing position. If you wanna stay here longer, go ahead. But take your time coming up out of that shape. And then we're gonna stand up off of the mat. Let's hope the camera doesn't cut my head off. Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna settle in a shoulder width stance here. So hands by your sides, close your eyes. Let's just take a couple of breaths. Trying to relax through those wrists. Let your arms rest heavy at your sides. Let's inhale, bring one arm up overhead and then fold over to the side. Inhale, when you're ready, lower that arm down. Same thing on the other side, breathing in, arm up overhead. Exhale as you fold. Pulling that arm down, straightening up nice and tall. Soften the knees for a moment. Big breath in and exhale, send the hips back. Reach the fingertips toward the floor. We're gonna pull the hands in close to the legs. Inhale and lift through the chest, but only come up to flat back position. So hands are resting just above the knees, elbows pulled in tight, shoulder blades are pulled in. Couple of breaths. It should feel like the middle part of your back is doing the majority of the work here. You might feel some in your hamstrings. Big breath in. We're gonna exhale, fold it down again, and you can fold the forearms if you'd like and give some more pull to your shoulders. Two more breaths. Last thing here, when you're ready, we're gonna do knees forward, hips forward, bring the body up out of that shape. We're gonna clasp the hands behind the back, pull those elbows back, and lift the chest. You're ready, you can release those fingertips. We're gonna go ahead and lay on down on the mat. So you can either lay on your back or on your belly. Just find a position that is most restful for you for the last couple of minutes. We're gonna close our eyes and just take some deep breaths. We can lay here for one more minute. As you've decided that you're done for the day, you can wiggle around and sit on up when you're done. Alrighty, well, thanks to my online people for coming, and we won't have it Monday because it's Labor Day, but I'll see y'all on Wednesday.